This first body must have suffered pretty horribly before dying, because if you look at the legs here, both of them have been amputated just above the knee. So presumably he was severely wounded in the legs, and then some surgeons cut them off, and then he must have died and they buried him. He was buried in a shelter quarter because you can see the loops and the buttons from shelter quarters that we found with the body. I didn't see an identification tag on him yet. This second body has an identification tag that was near his arms. It's for a Pioneer unit. And if you look at the body carefully, you'll see that there's a fractured left femur from a bullet or a fragment, who knows. I didn't see any other wounds on him so far. The tips of those two amputated legs on that poor soldier, and you can clearly see the saw marks from the surgeon's saw on both sides. Taking this first body out of the ground, and you can see on the top of the head there's an entrance bullet hole. So these kind of entrances are called keyhole bullet holes, and it means the bullet came from this direction at an angle, and then it made this bone fragment fly off here. And since there's no exit, it means the bullet should still be inside the head, so we're going to try to find it now. So the face of this skull fell apart, so we can look inside the skull, and inside there's the bullet that would have caused the hole here. So it's a small caliber pistol bullet, probably something shot from very close up. That's why it didn't exit. So that's what killed this man. Now I've just been removing the bones of this, the second body, the one who had that Air Force ring, and up here there was his hand, and where his hand was, there's this wedding ring. Now it has a date written inside. It has initials G, SCH, and then a date, 15th of August 1939, so just before the war started. Here they just found a body with an identification tag for a Panzer unit, and the tibia was very interesting because there's an old fracture on it, and you can see that it's been fixed with it's been fixed by a surgeon. It has this wire in it at two places, and you can see the bone is still bent. It didn't really heal properly. So here you can see the skull with this shrapnel hole that went completely through it.
Just get deep under with a spade.
So the first body here, he has his ID tag near his neck where it should be. That is still readable, though it's probably not readable for you guys who are watching. Now, if we look at the legs, you see that there's these splints all around the legs, these metallic splints all around one of the legs. It goes all the way to the bottom where the foot is. The femur here is intact, and then the tibia, if you go down, you see it's fractured here. And then there's a little piece of red rubber inside the fracture, which is a surgical drain that a doctor would have put in there so that pus and stuff like that could drain out of the wound. And now we'll take a look at the second body. It's the one that was mostly damaged by the excavator, but you can still see the arm and the head, everything is still there. He has a dog tag around his neck, which is in excellent condition. He has something here under his arm that we'll see later, some kind of wallet or something. As we go down, we see that this is damaged by the excavator. It would have been intact at the time. Here there's a shell fragment in the leg. Here there's a spoon and fork setup that has a bit of shrapnel damage where my thumb is. And then as we go down to the tibias, the shins, we see these really horrible wounds. Both tibias start here, and then they're completely mangled, smashed into tiny pieces. And then there's one foot that's here, and you can see it's at a completely awkward angle. So this guy's legs would have been pretty much reduced to applesauce as far as it looks like. They didn't even take his shoe off. So this is the second body that we're looking at right now with both his legs that were completely blown apart. Now we've taken them out and you can see it's pretty impressive. Both tibias are just smashed to smithereens. There's hardly any bones from the foot left on this leg, on the right leg. The left leg is also completely smashed. The tibia is still in the shoe, as we saw before. Anyway, really horrible wounds that this guy died of.
Там румынская бригада была.
А?
Сжигали, может,
Что-то еще и найдем?
Да нет, сжигать.
я слыхал, что-то как-то.
Наоборот.
Все. Варим.
Может быть и не 5. Ну, двое уже все. Черт, был бы именной.
Аккуратно, ну а по-другому как?
Сколько сейчас жарит?
Снежки позвони.
521.
Делаешь, эти мурашки по ногам.
Ты чего? Чего за мешок?
Давай, ногу. Добри вообще. Роман, станция 1! Мы уже делали, бля.
Как что получилось?
Here we're digging up the first body from the coffin. On his finger he has a death head ring, which is a pretty rare find. This is the 8th body that we find today, and this one is the most interesting so far when it comes to seeing wounds on him, because you can see that on the left leg there's 2 tourniquets that have been put into place, and the leg is smashed in both those locations. There was a shrapnel fragment here that we found when we were digging, and there's also a tourniquet in place on the left leg, that pink stuff you can see, and the lower leg is smashed completely. Apparently the foot is actually missing. So this guy would have probably bled out, even though a total of 3 tourniquets were put in place by the medical team or by his friends. Other than that, we didn't find anything particular, and no identification tag, unfortunately. These are the tourniquets once we've taken them out of the ground. So it's just a piece of rubber that
Чекай, може писано що на тому.
went all around the leg. So this guy has a wallet that we're going to open now to see what's inside. There's already an Italian coin.
Докторі. Зараз ти наш навчальник. А да.
Condom, Novac.
Кондом.
This is the 11th body found in the grave. He has his dog tag in the position where it should be. And the leg is very interesting because you see that there's a stabilizer placed along the whole leg. And there's a fractured femur with remains of a tourniquet. And you can see there's a round hole, which gives the impression that it's probably a bullet wound. This is the femur once we've taken it out of the ground. So as you can see, there's an entrance hole. There's no exit at the back. And when I was cleaning it, there's this piece of metal that's, can you show the other side? This piece of metal came out, so this might be the piece of shrapnel that caused the hole. Here we found something extremely interesting. At the feet of the 12th body, we found a piece of femur that had been sawed off, so obviously an amputated leg, and then we noticed that there's actually an amputated tibia and part of the femur buried under the body. So you can see that this is the foot here, this is the tibia, and here it's all smashed into small pieces. And then up here there's the amputated femur. So they must have seen the wound was too severe and they sawed the leg off. You can actually see the saw marks. And you can see that the surgeon sawed 90% and then the last piece just snapped off on its own. So somewhere in Germany there must be a guy with a leg missing, and this is his leg right here. We're still digging up this body number 17, which is an officer. We can already see he has fractures on the right arm here, and where his pocket must have been, there's 2 white condoms that are unused apparently. So this here is the 21st body found in the grave, and this is the one that shows how brutal war is. Pretty much the best of all the bodies we've seen so far. Because here you have the 2 legs that are cut off very high. You have the backbone going up a bit. There's no head where the head should be. You see there's a shoe and the tibia. There's some arm bones that are fractured, lots of small fragments of bones. So basically this soldier was completely blown to pieces. And interesting, we found lots of pieces of shelter quarter, so they must have put him in his shelter quarter, his tent, to carry him around before burying him. This is the last body of the 25, and we kind of had a bad feeling about him when we noticed that the feet down here are about 30 centimeters from the bottom of the coffin. So that means he's buried really high up in the coffin, and that impression was confirmed because, as you can see, all the legs are intact, but then as of the thoracic area, the whole body is missing. There's no chest, there's no head, there's no arms. So the guy is, there's just actually half a body in here. So he must have been hit by a shaller. Anyway, something violent happened to him. The coffin is also very well preserved. So you can see he's in the middle of the coffin. Can you explain to us what you're doing and how it works exactly, this tool you're using?
I'm trying to find bones using the shoe. So when I dig the shoe into the ground, it makes the special sound. So, and it actually feels differently every time I dig it. So when it is wood, the shoop actually makes the sound, I would say, very not loud, but with vibration.
So you can manage to see a difference, for example, between a stone, a tree root, metal,
Yeah.
all that, yeah, when you're used to it? Okay.
When it is metal, it usually sounds like a sand, you know, like.
Okay.
And when it is a stone, it sounds like glass, you know. And when it is the bone, you know, your heart actually tricks. You know, you can feel when it is a bone.
Okay, okay.
You can't explain the sounds of the bone.
And can you show us quickly what you found in this hole?
There is a gas mask. So the long one, it was like very deep.
Okay.
And then, you know, like part of the mask with the glass.
And what else did you find here?
Yes, RGD. But it was found by another digger.
This is a grenade, eh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So, why are you eating Toblerone in the forest? You always eat this every time?
No, we are lucky this time because our friends
okay.
from France brought us this as a present.
When we want something sweet.
It gives us energy. Woo! Toblerone.
When you feel bored, when you feel blue, eat Toblerone. It will
Давай.
That's it.
What's this one?
It's big fat, just fat.
Okay, it's good.
Yes, of course. It's really good. When you're in the forest, everything is good.
So what's the garlic for?
Just for health, let's say.
For what? Health?
For health, yeah.
Okay. And for good breath?
Yeah.
To avoid illness and kisses.
To avoid both of them.
Нужно просто на какое-то сухое место там перебирать аккуратно совочку.
Yes. You have the jaw here.
О, там они в глубине. Там рука.
So it says Death Valley, terrible hell. Those who survived this hell won't forget it. It was very hard to die here, especially if you're not even 20. And this is Russian tradition to honor the dead comrades. This is a glass of vodka, bread and cigarette.
Женя, вот тот также лежал. Да?
Может, отбой был?
Куча облаков, позабыв про тормоза, разгоняюсь до конца на полную. Девчонка, оседлавшая мой.
Я бы уже
Подковырни она выйдет.
525 год. Вот это.
День добрый.
So we found the bodies of 2 German soldiers in this hole. One of them has an intact skull, and the other skull is smashed. Half of it is actually missing. And with the bodies we also found an identification tag and German ammunition and a bayonet and those kinds of things. This is the identification tag. It's still readable. There's also a bayonet, ammunition pouches that are still full, some grenades, a wallet, and some bullets.
Аль дочь.
Есть что? Нормально.
Да, потом газета какая-то снаружи.
Свои заряжаю.
Такой человек. Я умею. Все уже идет.
Мы в том году целый всех проверили.
А еще двоих помнишь, да? Два.
Лопатка даже? Русская? Да.
Ребят, давайте сейчас сделаем, смотрите, что надо посмотреть здесь, аккуратненько взять грунт, выбросить, еще раз просеять его, как бы, посмотреть до этого самого цвета.
Тары-тарирарам, пором-пором, не уебись. Ого, сколько он, для тонна? Тонна.
Хорош курить, тетя.
Дэн, выкинь его сигару. Выкинь его. И его вместе. Песок, потому что он с кусками алюминия может маленькими пойти. Ее сейчас надо отмочить, кока-кола, спрайт или щавельная кислота.
Yeah.
Ну, короче, там уже специалисты.
So the big detector rang here, and as you can see, there's a Russian helmet buried. So I'm going to dig it up now.
У меня дома целая.
У нас всегда неполный, и на соревнованиях неполный был.
Никто так не делает. Ну, неполный всегда.
Чё ты нахуй, да я. Да это все уже поздно. Да я! Так и мы там держать 1000 человек.
Поехали. Держи только крепче.
Ну я тебя не возьму, сорян.
Два! Чего не там?
Подожди, надо опять Рамурсин заслать.
Russian helmet buried deep underground. Никита, где ты?
С собой принесли вы?
Тут есть что-то, Жан.
Ты сиди, пока сиди.
Сейчас пока все нафоткают. Тебе там не больно?
Нет, нет, ему...
Откопали.
А они верили в нее? Верили.
Чего, завалило что ли? Да.
Командир не видит.
Задумались, оказывается, логика лучше.
So this skull and helmet have a obvious shrapnel impact on them. So the hole in the helmet corresponds to the hole visible in the skull. And inside the skull there was still a fragment of shrapnel. This is another helmet with a corresponding skull. You can see a tiny shrapnel hole in the helmet. And the skull also has that matching shrapnel hole. And when emptying the earth out of this helmet, we find the tiny shrapnel fragment that would have killed the soldier and made that hole in the helmet.
Правый берег. Волги. То есть
canım mergim nedir heyan Dosaktı orarım ayoy Oğlum canım mergim nedir heyan